So ADA currently finds itself in a correction, following on from my previous update where I mentioned I was looking out for the price of ADA to have tapped into this range between 30 cents to 34 cents. And here you can see that we ended up just about falling short of this region. And instead, we ended up seeing a reversal to the upside where we breached above the 50 MA, which at the time was a bullish signal. And then we saw a correction followed by a reversal where we ended up breaching above the previous local top at 38.09 cents. So here you can see that we ended up topping off at 38.22 cents. And so ultimately, we ended up getting rejected at the 200 EMA, and that then led to this correction that we are currently witnessing at the moment. And for us to have been bullish, what we needed was for the price of ADA to have been within an impulsive move to the upside on this move here. But instead, we ended up seeing a corrective move play out mid above a double XR structure. And so this move from the W wave, this move from the X wave, and this move from the Y wave. And this double XR structure was confirmed once we ended up breaching above the wave W at 37.54 cents, which then triggered a change of character. And I believe the Y wave ended up tapping into its typical range between 1 to 1.236. So if I bring in the fib tool and bring this down to 36.19 cents, you can see that the Y wave ended up tapping into its typical range between 1 to 1.236. And so we had this double XR structure that played out, and here we have this correction that's forming right now, mid above another double XR structure, where this move is a double wave, this move is the X wave, and this move is the Y wave. And this double XR structure was confirmed once we ended up breaching below the wave W, which then triggered a change of character, signaling that we are slightly bearish. And yeah, what we could see is a deeper move to the downside, where the price of ADA could then tap into its typical range for the Y wave. So that range sits between 35.41 cents to 35.8 cents. So this region here. And given that we are within the oversold conditions on the stochastic RSI, I am looking out for the bulls at some point to regain control of the market. Whether what we could see forming is a bigger WXY structure to the downside, or a potential bigger WXY structure to the upside. Only time will tell, really. For us to be bullish, what we need is for the price of ADA to not breach below this level here at 35.76 cents. If we do breach below this level, then we could be slightly bearish, and what we could see forming is this WXY structure. If we manage to hold this level that we are currently at the moment, then that can then signal that we are slightly bullish, and we can see a bigger WXY structure form to the upside. And so if I zoom out and go in the 4-hour chart and check to see what's taking place, straight away I can see that the bears currently have the momentum, and of course that is reflected on the price chart, given that we have been on a downtrend. We could still be bullish even if the price of ADA was to breach below this level. And what we could see forming is a potential bigger WXY structure to the upside. And so for the price of ADA in the long run to be bullish, what we need is for the price of ADA to not breach below this level here at 34.66 cents. And if we do have this double XY structure that's forming, the X wave would typically reach anywhere between 50 to 18.2% of the W wave. And that region sits between 35.08 cents to 36.44 cents. And you can see that we ended up tapping into that range. And so it is possible that we have this X wave that's forming, and we could then see a reversal to the upside. And for this double XR structure to be in play, what we need again is for the price of ADA to not breach below the 100% retracer level at 34.66 cents, and also not breach below the 88.2% retracer level. But of course, this is something that I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come, and I will keep you guys updated.